Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions for another review of another Oxford United game. Today, the U's were up against those pesky Imps. It was a great performance and a great result for Oxford. But before we get to that, I just want to welcome a guest that we have with us today, friend of the channel, family member of the channel, Patreon backer. He was at the game today, but before you give him applause for that, remember, he didn't go to a single game last season, so how good of a fan is he really? Robert, welcome back to Very Biased Opinions.
Well, it's lovely to be back. I mean, I've missed being on Very Biased Opinions. My life now has meaning.
I like to hear it. So let's run through this one on again. Another Saturday, Oxford at home, another very good performance and another very good win, as I've already said. And it was an emphatic scoreline, which was dampened a little bit by Lincoln getting a goal at the end, but it did finish. Oxford United 3, Lincoln City 1. Continues the very good start to the season. And apart from that final 5 minutes where we seemed to go into panic mode out absolutely nowhere, once Lincoln scored, I thought Oxford were really good value for the win today.
Oh, we thoroughly deserved it. I mean, I know Lincoln have had injury problems. They've got COVID issues. They are so it's not a full strength side they've got out there at all. But I've never seen Oxford dominate a half like we did in the first half. Lincoln barely had a kick. It was just they kept giving the ball away. We kept winning the second ball, launching attack. We over-elaborated quite a lot, as we want to do, but we absolutely dominated that first half. And then in the second half, we could have quite easily got more goals. And then it was just strange. Once we gone 3-0 up, we almost switched off. And then suddenly when Lincoln came back in the game, we were almost panicking and holding on. But other than that, a very good performance.
Madness at the end, and you couldn't help but get nervous. But I mean, going back to the first half, I completely agree with you. I thought, Lincoln, they've got their problems with selection and COVID and stuff, and Appleton's never going to use that as an excuse, and he didn't. But you could tell they've still got some good players out there, but they're missing some players for sure. And Oxford really put them under so much pressure, and I thought they were really sloppy, but they continued to keep trying to play their way out from the back and almost gifting Oxford possession high up the pitch, which seemed a bit kamikaze. And apart from them hitting the bar from a set piece, they didn't really offer much. But Oxford got the first goal relatively early, 12 minutes on. James Henry, the first of his 3 goals today. Good goal though, Robs, I thought. Good goal.
Fantastic goal. I mean, Henry's going to get the plaudits, but Thornley, he intercepts the ball brilliantly, comes forward, releases a good pass, and Henry with an outstanding finish from the edge of the penalty area. But excellent goal. Yeah,
excellent goal. And you're right, Thornley did do well, and Thornley was fantastic during the game. Really, it was a shame.
My man of the match easily.
Well,
apart from Henry, obviously.
One guy did get 3 goals.
Yeah.
Thornley, if it wasn't for Henry, Thornley would have got man of the match. And I don't think his injury in the second half is going to be too bad. I think they said it was like an impact injury. It's not like a muscle tear or anything. So hopefully, fingers crossed, he should be. Well, that's what they said on Radio Oxford anyway, but they're speculating.
Yeah, he went down, and then, about 5 minutes later, he's being sort of led off again. So obviously, hopefully he's just taken a whack, and then it might be more precautionary rather than anything else. They're taking him off. Fingers crossed, because
you wouldn't see it, but there was obviously when he walked off the pitch, watching it on iFollow, they were quite close up on him, and it didn't look like he was too bad. So it looked like it might have been something like a dead leg or something like that, hopefully. But second goal, very similar to the first goal as well. It was a James Henry finish from outside the edge of the box. But this time, good work by Gavin White and by Seddon, I believe, down that left-hand side to work the ball out to him. Again, pretty similar carbon copy goal, I thought.
Yeah, well, Thornley plays a good ball into White. White puts in a good crossover. And again, yet another excellent finish by James Henry. Yeah, it was. I mean, these were both incredibly well-worked goals by Oxford United. It's... we sort of waiting around, waiting for sort of like this huge job, thinking, well, this is incredibly easy. Something should start going wrong soon.
Someone tried to sort of get in Henry's way, but he sort of found a bit of space and hit a really good shot into the bottom corner. And as I say, Oxford were really good value for it going into half time. And it was just a matter of whether we would step off the gas going into the second half. But I guess we'll talk about the second half in just a sec. So second half, Robert, first 2 or 3 minutes, Oxford seemed to have a number of chances again. It seemed like we were getting to the byline, creating chances. But Then Lincoln had a little spell without creating too much to really give Stevens much to do. But then Oxford put this game to bed when the Taylor and Monsma show, they were kind of at each other's throat all afternoon, kind of ended with Matty Taylor just getting ahead of him and Monsma fouling him. Lincoln fans will probably disagree with that, but it did look like a penalty to me, and gave James Henry the chance to complete his hat-trick.
Was that the defender who in the first half, it looked like James Henry, so Matt Taylor had him in a pair of head scissors?
Yeah. Oh, he did. Well, as I said, Matt Taylor, he's not innocent of guilt here. He is a git. He's a git of a player, and he winds people up. And they had a bit of a coming together. Monsma was fouling him. Monsma probably brought Taylor down off the ball, but Taylor did carry it on into a very nice head scissors, stroke Hurricane Rana move.
I was going to say, I was just waiting for it to be flipped over at that moment in time, but sadly not.
It probably was more of a flying head scissors, but and then that sort of carried on with Taylor. Monsma play acting, trying to get Taylor sent off as if he wasn't very good. But Taylor, Taylor is a git.
Taylor's a little sod, he really is. And again, with that penalty, he's looking for the penalty. Yeah. He's anticipating the foul, but it's a penalty. I mean, it was at the other end of the ground for me. From what I looked at, I don't think you can have only 2 complaints.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's he's got half a yard. He's got the touch. The guy's bought it. He's looking for it for sure, but without seeing 1,000,001 replays, it looked like there was contact. It looked like a stonewaller, and it didn't really. I didn't have any. Did you actually watch this penalty? You don't normally watch pens.
Well, I was quite relaxed, bearing in mind, because the whole game had quite a relaxed atmosphere to it. It almost felt at times like we were watching a pre-season friendly. There was a very sort of like the Lincoln fans are chanting quite a bit. The Oxford fans are sort of semi-engaged, but it was hardly like a blood and thunder desperate match. It was kind of like a gentle little stroll in the, sort of like he meandered on through the game, and then he just thought, well, he's going to get his hat trick now. So, and a good penalty as well. Really
good penalty, yeah. He tucks it away really with aplomb, and Henry's been really good so far this season. I think he looks sharp. Like last season, he was a bit hot and cold, wasn't he? It was times, but I don't think he started the season very well, and he had little peaks and troughs. But he started the season really well, and when Henry's playing well, Oxford United seem to go up a level of how good they are. It just seems to kind of make things click, and Oxford look a hell of a lot more threatening when he's on his game. I know that's easy to say when he scored 3 goals, but generally, I think when he looks good, Oxford look good.
Yeah, I mean, he was a difference maker really today. I mean, I thought in general, the whole time played very well today. I thought White was a little bit quiet, if I was honest, but other than that,
hot and cold for White, isn't he? Again, when he's in the game, he's great, and then he has long stretches where he's not involved.
There's this time I was watching I was in the South Stand Up and looking down at it, and there's about near the end of the first half, I could see him get incredibly frustrated because he was getting himself into space, and the attack was all going down to Mark Sykes, and he was like desperately wanting the ball, but it wasn't coming his way, and you can see him getting more and more frustrated. But yeah, I mean, like I say, he's very much a hot and cold, but that's kind of part and parcel of being a winger, I suppose. You're going to have sort of like days when you're sort of on fire and dominating the games, and other games when we just don't see you.
Yeah, and there's not many Oxford players that play badly, obviously, today. It was a good performance. I thought Anthony Ford was really good at right back. And, Brannigan never has a bad game. But I do think Sykes is looking good as well. I mean, he's getting himself about the pitch. He's looking busy. And it's the benefit of him playing games week in, week out, which is some of the fringe players don't get that benefit of what Mark Sykes has had, where he was a bit of a fringe player last season. Now he's getting a run in the side. You're seeing what a good player he is.
Defensively, though, I mean, so far this season, most of the goals we've conceded have been penalties.
3, yeah, and a set piece again, sloppy little set piece against Bolton last weekend. So not much from open play. Just worldly, really, isn't it? And just that worldly from Bolton last weekend.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, defensively, bearing in mind we've had injuries, we're missing Sam Long, Moore's been injured at the start of the season. We've looked fine. McNally came on, and McNally looks a decent player.
Just that mad panic at the end of the game. I don't get it. We gave away this penalty, and then instantly from the kick-off, we gave the ball back to Lincoln, and they had another attack where it was like 3-on-2. And luckily, Scully, who has been a goal machine for them so far, put the shot wide. But why did it? end up being this little moments of madness at the end.
Yeah, I just don't get it because the crowd pretty much was starting to disappear. People were starting to filter away. They were just turning around, and the game was over and done with. Even when the penalty went in, it was quite relaxed. But then suddenly they have that attack, and again, suddenly people thinking, God, what's happening here? We've been in control for 89 minutes. Why have you suddenly stopped?
Radio Oxford had to say, we have to remind everyone, Oxford are 2 goals ahead, not one, but it feels like they're only one. But Oxford definitely deserved the victory. And midweek, I don't know how many changes you're allowed to make, but no one really cares midweek about the EFL trophy. It'll be a run out for some players. And then it's a away game at Wimbledon. Going to be difficult, but I think that's definitely a very winnable game next weekend.
Evie Kiddenborough on the radio on the way back made some good points. He was saying that Tuesday could be interested in the terms of the players who might not be playing, because that's when the transfer window closes. Which of our players are leaving the club? Who's going to be going out on loan? Because apparently we've got a player joining us.
Apparently so. Yeah, apparently there was a lot of talk about a big signing and someone being in the crowd.
Karl was really blowing his trumpet after the match, saying, getting phone calls and people, I can't believe we've got him. He was there in the gate, at the ground and all the rest of it.
Do you reckon it's Ronaldo?
Well, I don't know. But the one I did read, apparently Will Grigg wasn't playing on the bench, wasn't playing for Sunderland. So I'm thinking, oh God, we're signing Will Grigg again. It's going to be less bloody Ferdinand and his helicopter coming to land.
It's hard to get too excited because we've been here before, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's like the last seconds of deadline day where we scramble a few players in over the line. But I generally think the squad looks pretty good, and I'm happy with the way Oxford are playing their football this season. It's a lot more. We're getting the ball forward a lot quicker. We're playing a lot more on the front foot, which is good to see. The pressing's still good.
And it's still early days. It's still about 5 days into it. Players will gel. They'll get better understandings,
And there's a lot of players we haven't really seen. We haven't seen much of Marcus McGuane yet, who is a player.
I think McGuane will be almost one of the first names on the team sheet, for...
Longie's got to come back in as well. I mean, that's we haven't really missed him too much, but he does add a hell of a lot to Oxford, let's not forget. And so, all things looking good for the Oxford United point of view. But I think it helps with how they're led out onto the field. And you spotted something today, which I think you quite enjoyed at the start of the game.
Well, I've never seen it before in going to watch all of my years of watching Oxford United. Before the start of the match, Peter Rose-Brown's out there and he's doing the PA shtick to the crowd, blah, blah, blah. Someone's getting married, doing this, blah, blah, blah. I'm barely listening. And then suddenly, before the player comes out, it's like, here's the gaffer. And that walks Karl, doing that to all 4 corners. And then the players come out. So he's like, what? It's like,
I like it. We should be Karl Robinson's Oxford United from now on.
I mean, I was half expecting No Chance in Hell to start blaring out and him doing a Vince McMahon walk out to the middle of the...
I'd love to see that.
Power walk out.
Okay, I think that pretty much sums it all up. Great, as we've said all along, it was a very well-deserved win for Oxford United. Lincoln fans, you can let us know your thoughts on the game. There's 2 seasons in a row we've played you at home where we seem to have played you at the right time in terms of the number of injuries and COVID players we've had.
Lincoln will be fine. Lincoln will be well up there.
They're a very good side.
They're a very good side. We're just playing them at exactly the right time.
Exactly right. And but give your comments down below. And Oxford fans, obviously, give your comments down below as well. Hit the like button if you like this video. That helps us out so much. If you like the content and you haven't yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button and hit the notify bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. I'll be back. We'll be back doing some sort of content at some point, more regular, but I'll be back next Saturday for another Oxford United review. Probably Robert won't be with us. So, Robert, just give your farewells and we'll wrap this video up.